Hey guys, I'm Adrian, and I actually had the idea to make this video way back when I saw Captain America Civil War, but I never really got around to it, and I just felt like it's something that merits to be explored. And it's the question that you, of course, probably already read: what if Captain America killed Iron Man? I know that did not happen in the movie, so the purpose of this video is to kind of examine what would the consequences be if that were to actually happen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the reason why that question popped in my head is that when I was watching that movie, I did feel that this is something that could actually happen. I mean, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, no, Marvel would never kill off Iron Man. Iron Man's already confirmed to be in Spider-Man Homecoming, and they wouldn't turn Captain America into a murder and all of that. And then, of course, that did not happen. But part of me felt like that's what they were kind of heading towards, just because of everything that had happened leading up to that moment. Like, if you rewatch that scene again, and you see once, Captain America slams Iron Man onto the floor and he gets on top of him, he puts his shield up, it genuinely looks like he's going to use that shield to either bash his head in or cut his head off or like do some absolutely brutal move on Iron Man. If you look at Iron Man's face, that's not the face of someone that's like, oh, he's just playing, he's gonna get right off, or he's just gonna smack me in the chest. Like, Iron Man feared for his life. You can see that he raises his hands in complete fear that a Captain America is going to bring down his shield on him. And then right after he doesn't do that, he instead smacks him on the chest. You can see in Captain America's face, like, what did I almost just do there? Like, he was moments away from actually killing him. Like, it's something that when I saw that, it's a quote from the fourth Rambo movie that he says that when you're pushed, killing is as easy as breathing. And I felt like Captain America had gotten to that point where he had been trying to tell him, look, this isn't going to change anything. He didn't mean it. He was being controlled by Hydra, all this stuff. And, Iron Man didn't care. He just wanted to kill, or I don't know, bring in what, who knows? He just really wanted to beat the crap out of Winter Soldier. And he had also just ripped his arm off. Imagine how you would feel if you would see your best friend's arm ripped off. Yeah, it was bionic, but it was still, he ripped it off. So anyway, let's say that all of that truly got to Captain America, and in that moment, bam, he brings the shield down on Iron Man. What would have happened? Well, first of all, he would pretty much lose the support of his entire team. I don't think any one of the members of his team would support his actions. The only person who I feel would even remotely understand of where that was coming from was Winter Soldier, because he knows that he kind of did it out of self-defense in a way, that he just got caught up in the moment. He just saw him have his arm ripped off of him. Like, he was fighting for him this whole time, and I think he's the only one that would understand that. Everybody else, like, they would just turn against him. And I also feel like if he were to do that, then there would be no turning back. This is one of the reasons why Batman, I know he totally kills in the DC Extended Universe, but, a big thing in the modern incarnations in the comics is that Batman doesn't kill because he doesn't want to cross that line. And that's the line that he just refuses to cross, no matter who it is who deserves it. Like, there's a really good speech that he gives in the animated film Under the Red Hood, when Robin is asking him, well, it used to be Robin, is now asking him, like, why do you not kill the Joker? Like, I'm not talking about the Penguin, I'm not talking about all these other, like, villains that, sure, they do dastardly things, but nothing as villainous and horrific as what Joker has done. And yeah, he just gives this really awesome speech that you should totally go see if you haven't seen yet, but it boils down to him saying that's a line that I don't cross, and as soon as you go down that hole, there's no turning back. So anyway, let's say that Captain America crosses that line, he would be a completely changed man. Like, that would have gone against all the principles that he's been taught with. Sure, he's killed guys before, yes. Batman doesn't kill anyone, but Captain America, yeah, I'm sure you've seen the kill counts online. He's killed people before, but this is the first time that he's actually, like, killed someone he knows, and he knows that he should not kill that guy. He should not kill Iron Man. That's the wrong thing to do. So he would be a felon. The whole world would be after him. Vision would be after him. That would be, horrendous. Vision is essentially Superman in the closest thing. Yes, we have Thor, but Vision is the closest thing we got to like a Superman kind of cosmic figure that can fly, that has a cape, that shoots laser out of his head. I mean, yeah, that would be crazy. And also the public image of being heroes would absolutely be killed. What sort of trust would you kind of have in them if Captain America was capable of killing Iron Man? Like, if they're capable of killing each other, what does that say about the state of superheroes? As a result, obviously, the Sokovia Accords would be immediately revised, and they would probably be much, much harsher. And I don't even know if they would want to use superheroes now at this point, if they can see that they're capable of doing stuff like that in the heat of the moment. Like, I feel like the trust would be at an all-time low. I don't even know if they would even want to use the Avengers, knowing that they're capable of doing something like that. Obviously, the Avengers would be completely disbanded by that point. As to people maybe forgiving Captain America in the future, if that were to happen, I mean, maybe Agent 13, since they kind of imply that they love each other at this point. Maybe her. Maybe Falcon, just because he seems to be a closer friend. I mean, not as close as Bucky, but he seems to always be there for Captain America. Also, an interesting thing to note would be, what would the effect be if Captain America killed Iron Man on Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man sees him, I mean, first he knew very little about him, he knew just what Iron Man told him, but he kind of admires the guy. When he tells him where he's from, and he tells him he's, a Brooklyn kid, that strikes a chord with Spider-Man, and it kind of makes him more... It makes him like Captain America, like he's a cool guy. Like, imagine if he were to learn that this guy that he was starting to look up to killed Iron Man. The guy who gave him his suit. Like, it would be pretty crazy. Like, I feel like the great power, great responsibility thing would just take a really deep, dark turn with that. Because considering what Captain America just did, like, would he think, would ideas in his head start popping in, like, well, is it okay to kill your enemies then? Since Captain America would probably he would probably leave the shield too, I'm thinking. Like, I don't think he would carry the murder weapon. Would Winter Soldier then therefore take on the mantle of Captain America? Winter Soldier has done this in the comics before, and I think that they're kind of severely hinting that's what's going to happen in the cinematic universe. So would he take on the mantle of Captain America while Captain America just figures out what he is now? And then another thing to look at too is this goes into a little bit of Doctor Strange. So if you haven't seen Doctor Strange, I guess you know what? I'm gonna put a little thing. I'm gonna put a little thing on screen that says spoiler Doctor Strange. So scroll along, and until you see that pop out, then you can keep watching the video. So what I wanted to bring up about that is that when Mordo finds out that the Ancient One, Tilda Swinton's character, she was drawing energy from what essentially is the dark side of the Force, if you want to look at it that way, he becomes convinced that was the wrong thing to do, that you have to respect those rules, that rules cannot be bent just to suit your needs. And that's what Doctor Strange did when he was manipulating time to be able to defeat Dormammu, and he didn't agree with that, and he didn't agree with the Ancient One tapping into the dark side of the Force to be able to live forever and ever. So he turns his back on them, and he essentially becomes like this sort of self-righteous, I think he's going to become, I don't know enough about Doctor Strange to be able to chart out exactly where this character should be going, but it seems like he's going to become like some sort of arch nemesis to him, like the Venom to his Spider-Man, so to speak, although Venom and Spider-Man story is very different. But what I'm saying is, like the same kind of powers, but just different viewpoints kind of thing. So would Captain America go down that path? Would he become so disenfranchised, disillusioned with humanity, with the government, with superheroes, that he would want to, I don't know if he would take them all out, but that he would turn into a villain of his own, or he would turn into like an agent of his very own agent, like a sort of Punisher kind of thing, where he just enacts his own brand of justice and what he thinks is right, judge, jury, and executioner kind of thing. If this were to happen, this would have been kind of like a good segue into what the comics recently revealed of, like, oh, Captain America was a secret Hydra agent all along, so maybe that was kind of hinting at that as well. That's why he was able to kill Iron Man, was because he was a Hydra agent all along. If that were to happen, it would have been kind of a reversal of the consequences of what happened during the comic book. In case you guys don't know, after Civil War happens in the comic book, they fight for pretty different reasons. That one, It was more about their secret identities. But in any case, Iron Man and Captain America both realize the damage that their battle is causing to the people that they're supposedly protecting. So Captain America pretty much turns himself in. And what happens is that, and here's some spoiler talk, I guess, in case you want to read the comic book. On his way being turned in, he's suddenly shot in the crowd. And then everyone panics and no one knows who shot him. And then he's rushed to the emergency room. And then they can't fix him, and then he dies, and Iron Man is there beside him, and he laments that because of... He feels obviously partially responsible for his death, even though he didn't shoot him. And then as it turns out, Agent 13 was the one that was secretly manipulated to be a sleeper agent, and she's the one who takes out the gun and kills Captain America. Iron Man indirectly led to the death of Captain America, but here, like, Captain America directly led to the death of Iron Man. He kills him, so that would be crazy. That wouldn't be an indirect death. That would be a direct death. And outside of the movie world, because we've been looking at it in terms of like the storytelling within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but outside of that, just from a business perspective, like a movie perspective, it would have been completely unexpected and extremely controversial to have something like that happen, especially from Marvel, because Marvel, the thing that they've been criticized lately is that a lot of their movies are kind of cookie cutter movies, where you know the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then just things just kind of that just happen leading up to the next movie. I mean, most recently you could see this with Doctor Strange, actually. Like, Doctor Strange is pretty much beat for beat like kind of a remake of Iron Man, down to the same characteristics of him being an insufferable guy in the beginning, and then he kind of learns some compassion at the end. Like, that's the same sort of arc kind of thing, or some horrible accident happens, and then because of the horrible accident, he becomes a better man kind of stuff. What this would have done is that it would have really meant like, oh, we're cool with making like a long-lasting, serious consequences in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as opposed to death being completely reversible or downright ignored, because that's usually what happens. Like, oh, did Loki die in Thor? No, Loki comes back right at the end of the credits, so he's fine. Oh my god, did Agent Coulson die in the Avengers? Well, if you go by the movie logic, yes, he kind of died, but if you go by seeing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., no, he totally did not die. Like, no one dies and stays dead in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's been one of the big complaints of it, is that whenever they kill someone, it's an inconsequential character like poor Quicksilver, who was probably killed just so he doesn't compete with... Fox also shares the rights to Quicksilver, so they just didn't want to compete with that Quicksilver, so they just killed him off. So that was a really easy death, but it didn't really mean anything because we didn't even know the guy. We knew him for maybe, all of like 7 minutes of screen time? Like, that death wasn't going to mean anything. But this death would have been absolutely crazy. I mean, nobody would have expected that, and it would have kind of cemented it as like, these Marvel movies, you gotta see them all in order for it all to make sense. In other words, that they're each as equally important, instead of placing all the important stuff only in the Avengers movies and all the other stuff like whatever, it's like you miss an episode of a Saturday morning cartoon, it's fine because by the next episode everything's totally fine, every order has been restored and everyone's exactly where they left off. And I feel that they kind of totally did that again with Civil War, when Captain America just sends his little letter of apology to Iron Man, telling him like, don't worry, man, I'm sorry about everything, like, if you ever need me, just call me up and I'll be there for you. Like, it just undercuts everything, and it kind of takes out the drama out of everything. And I feel like Captain America killing Iron Man, that would have been absolutely huge. That would have rocked the cinematic universe to its core. And in terms of the business perspective, it would have been kind of a smart, I mean, obviously not very smart because Iron Man's a cash cow, but a smart maneuver in that, Robert Downey Jr. is getting progressively more expensive as he further negotiates his appearances in further Marvel movies, because he just gets paid so much money, and so he's become really expensive. And I think like that would be a really easy way to write him out of the cinematic universe and have him go out with a huge bang, as opposed to whatever they're planning on. I mean, maybe he's gonna die in the future Avengers movie, then I don't know what they're planning on him, but I feel like it would have been intensely personal and very memorable if he would have been killed by Captain America. And by the same token, Chris Evans still has one movie left in his 6-movie contract that would have kind of like really shaken up, like, when, well, what is that movie going to be? What's going to happen with Captain America? Is he still going to be Captain America? Is he going to become someone else? Is he going to redeem himself? Like, that would have kind of like written him off a little bit too of the cinematic universe, only to bring him back in when he's absolutely necessary. And well, Robert Downey Jr., they wouldn't need him anymore because he died, and so someone else could take on the mantle of Iron Man. Now I'm really curious to see, what do you guys think would happen? What if Captain America killed Iron Man? What do you guys think would happen in the cinematic universe? And also, if you like this video, please let me know in the comments below what other scenario you would like me to discuss in this sort of what if manner, like stuff that did not happen, but what if it did happen? I think it's really fun, and I think it's kind of like opens the door to exploring different possibilities. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more awesome content, and you can also follow me on my social media accounts. And remember, if you support me on Patreon, there's a bunch of exclusive rewards you can get. So again, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.